Madam Chancellor, Dean Yakabuchi, distinguished members of the Platform Party, parents, guests, and most importantly, graduates. What a wonderful day this is for you and for me. As some of you may know, I come from a family that is literally filled with lawyers. My oldest brother is a lawyer. My two daughters who are here today, Shannon and Jessica, are lawyers. My nephew is a lawyer. I have numerous cousins who are lawyers. And my wife, Ricky, thinks she's a lawyer. And much as I take great pride in this, as of late, I've been telling people that I've reached a stage in my life when I don't need more lawyers in the family, I need a doctor. Little did I know that the University of Toronto would hear my plea. Thank you, University of Toronto. I am most appreciative. Now when I try to book an appointment with my GP, I can say it's Dr. Moldaver calling, and I may get somewhere. Telling his reception that it was Justice Moldaver proved to be utterly useless. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying how deeply grateful I am to the University of Toronto for bestowing this high honor upon me. The University of Toronto is heralded by many as this country's most prestigious institution of higher learning. And as one of its alumni, I certainly share that view, although I confess at once to being somewhat less than judicially objective in my assessment. I do, however, regain my judicial objectivity when I tell you that despite the generous things that have been said about me a few moments ago, for which I am very grateful, thank you, I feel quite unworthy of this high honor. I would not have felt that way at age 21, when I thought I knew everything. What a sense of comfort that was. Today, 50 years later, I wake up every day realizing how little I know about so much. Today, I wake up thinking that I am inadequate and unqualified, that I have no business being on the Supreme Court of Canada, and that one day I am going to be exposed. Here's hoping today isn't the day. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that when I am introduced these days, as I sit back and listen to all the nice things people have to say, one thought keeps running through my mind, and it's this. When you cut through all the fluff and the fanfare, at bottom, I'm a kid from Peterboro who got lucky. I'm a kid from Peterboro who just got lucky. Indeed, as it turns out, being born and raised in Peterboro was my first stroke of good luck. For it was there that I was exposed to the mores, values, and beliefs that to this day continue to guide me and shape my approach and attitude towards life. And with your permission, let me briefly explain. You know, when I think back to my formative years in Peterboro, I'm struck by the thought that life seemed so much simpler then. People were friendly, and everybody seemed to know everybody. There were no Blackberries or Blueberries or Raspberries or iPhones or iPads. People actually communicated with each other face to face. They were more than just lines on a screen that you could erase with the flick of a finger. Most of the people I knew were not wealthy, but they were comfortable and seemed happy. Neighbors were actually neighborly. They were friends who were there in good times and bad. And there are other memories of Peterboro that remain firmly fixed in my mind. For example, the doors to our home were never locked. My dad always left the keys to his car in the ignition. That's true, believe it or not. At age 5, I was walking to and from school about 3/4 of a mile each way by myself, not because my mother was irresponsible or uncaring. To the contrary, she was one of the most caring, loving mothers in the whole world. But knowing what she did, she had a sixth sense that everything would be okay and that I would be safe. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the world in which I was raised. That was my context, if you will. And I came away from it believing that people are basically good and decent and honest. And I came away believing that what most people want in life is a family, a job, a place to live, a sense of security, and the ability to live out their lives in peace and harmony. And I came away understanding that what most people need in life is not so much material things, but to have a sense of self-worth and to be treated fairly, as equals, with respect and dignity. That, by the way, is the wording in part that my two brothers and I chose to mark our late father's headstone. Dad is buried in Peterboro. His headstone reads in full, "Live each day to the fullest and respect the worth and dignity of every human being." In short, ladies and gentlemen, my upbringing in Peterboro went a long way towards shaping my outlook on life and my perception of human beings and the human condition. It also shaped the views and attitudes and beliefs that have influenced me throughout my legal career, initially as a criminal defense lawyer and latterly as a judge. Live each day to the fullest and respect the worth and dignity of every human being. I commend those sentiments to all of you. Let them be your guideposts, and I assure you, you won't go wrong. That's point number 1 in my little talk. Point number 2 relates to your reputation. Ladies and gentlemen, as you embark upon your careers, whether it be as lawyers or entrepreneurs or politicians or social activists or whatever other calling you may choose, I would ask you to please remember that there is more to life than winning and losing, much more. As a young litigator starting out some 46 years ago, I learned early on that my primary function in life was to take on the dregs that various partners in the firm had been looking to offload on the first junior who happened by. There was little chance of winning one of these dregs, and my success rate bore this out. But they taught me a valuable lesson. They taught me that going to court was not a fun thing, and that the only certainty in a courtroom is that there is no certainty. You could prepare to the nth degree and do a sparkling job and still lose. And I did, a lot, and it wasn't pleasant. But in all of this, I found solace in a high-profile murder case that my late partner, Eddie Greenspan, took on early in his career, a case which he lost at every level of court, all the way up to and including the Supreme Court of Canada. And yet, that is the case upon which Eddie made his reputation. The fact that he lost at every turn seemed to be lost on the public. No one seemed to care. What mattered was how he played the game. That's what mattered. And the same applies to you, which brings me to my real point, your reputation. At the end of the day, graduates, the success of you achieve as a professional, be it in law or some other calling, will not be measured by the number of wins you've had or the amount of cash you have been able to amass. It will be measured instead by your good name. It will be measured instead by how you played the game. And it will be measured by the respect you have earned from your colleagues, from your clients, from the leaders of your profession, and from the community at large. So as you embark upon your careers, please remember that your reputation is your most important asset. It takes a long time to build up, and you can lose it overnight. So keep your guard up. Don't ever let it down. More importantly, don't ever let yourself down. Let your word be your bond. Let honesty and integrity be your guideposts. Treat people with respect and courtesy. Be firm when necessary, but never impolite or belligerent. Stand up for what you believe in. Be intolerant only of intolerance. And if you choose to do litigation, set a good example in the courtroom. Craft your written work with care. Come to the courtroom prepared. Try not to waste the court's time. Get down to the issues. Make arguments that are grounded in sound reasoning, common sense, and an understanding of the human condition. These are the hallmarks of a truly great professional, and these are the hallmarks I know you will strive to achieve. And that brings me to my final point you'll be glad to know. For those of you who may be looking at me and thinking, I wish I were him, let me assure you that him is looking at you and wishing he were you. The message, be yourselves. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy what you have. Live each day and live it to the fullest. You have your whole life ahead of you, and each of you has the opportunity to do great good regardless of the profession you choose, be it the law or some other calling. For those of you who choose to carry on in law, when I speak of great good, I am not talking about arguing some landmark case in the Supreme Court of Canada, or writing a learned treatise on the law, or defending some high-profile murder case, or representing some corporate giant. Rather, I'm talking about little things that generally go unnoticed. I'm talking about small measures that can make an immeasurable difference in people's lives. I'm talking about helping little people who have been victimized by others more powerful, advising them of the rights and freedoms and benefits to which they are entitled, providing them with a voice so that they can access the justice system, a system which many find daunting and foreign and hostile. In sum, when I speak of doing great good, I'm talking about just helping ordinary people in their daily lives, helping them weave their way through the thicket of rules and regulations that govern our daily activities, be it the purchase of a home, the incorporation of a business, the payment of taxes, or the fair treatment of employees. In your professional capacity, you will have the opportunity to do great good every day. And as corny as it may sound, my simple view of life goes like this. The things we do today become the memories of tomorrow. So if you want to have good memories, it's easy. Just do good things. In my case, doing great good comes in the form of a statue I have in my office at home. It's not much of a statue. It stands about 1.5 feet tall, and it's made from plastic with a granite base. I got it from a woman who killed her abusive husband to save her own life. She was charged with murder, and thankfully the jury acquitted her on the basis of self-defense. And the case attracted no publicity, no fame, no notoriety. There was barely a soul in the courtroom when the verdict was announced. And I believe I was paid the grand sum of $3,000 by legal aid for defending her. And the statue itself probably cost $25 or $30. But to me, ladies and gentlemen, it's priceless. And for me, it's what made it all worthwhile then and even to this very day. So, congratulations to you all. I wish you great success and happiness as you embark on the next exciting chapter of your lives. Thank you so much.